Hi, I'm Dana. I'm the lead animal care specialist here over the Bison at Brookfield Zoo. I want to thank you for joining us today hi, good morning. Bringing the zoo to you. Today we are looking at our North American bison herd. We have 6 individuals in our herd. Our big male, who's deciding that he's going to continue his midday nap, is Ron. Our dominant female is Judy, who is the animal right in front of you here with the wide set horns. Both Ron and Judy are going to be 20 this year in May. Then we have 2 other adult females, Lucy and Leotie. They came from the Wildlife Prairie Park in 2009. That is Lucy there on the left, and then Leotie is way over here on the right. And then we have 2 younger males, Joe and Stanley, who were both born here. Bison are a herd animal, which means that they live in large groups. Generally, it's mainly females and their offspring, and the males will kind of hang out on the outskirts, hoping for a chance to breed. Speaking of breeding, I mentioned that Judy and Ron are going to be 20 in May. Most bison celebrate their birthdays in April or May because they are seasonal breeders. They generally breed anytime from June to September, with the peak being in July and August, which means their gestation is about 270 days. So then calving is usually in April and May.
Do any of our bison have cattle genetics?
We do not know that. Actually, we are working with the stud bookkeeper of the bison to see if we should do some testing to find out whether they are fully wild bison or not. Most bison in North America are not fully wild anymore. There's probably just a small population that is. Bison are vegetarian, which means they eat only plants. In the wild, they would graze mostly on grasses. Bison are a very integral part of the ecosystem where they live. They are specific grazers that graze only parts of the grasses and then leave other parts for other natural animals in that habitat. So they actually promote the ecosystem.
What do they eat here at the zoo?
Here at the zoo, they eat a pelleted diet, which has all the vitamins and minerals they might need, and that's the main part of their diet. They're also given grass hay, as well as some carrots and different kinds of lettuces, just for different kinds of forage. Go ahead.
How do you tell them apart?
We tell the bison apart mainly by their horns, and their size. So males are generally bigger. They can be up to like 2,200 pounds, and the females up to about 1,200 pounds. Again, like I said, their horns are their main telltale. Judy has really wide set horns, so they stick far out from her head. Leotie has a horn that kind of curls. Her right horn kind of curls if you look at her from the side. The 2 little boys are a little bit more difficult to tell apart, but Joe is a little bit bigger than Stanley. And then Ron, males and females is just size difference. Ron is much bigger, their hump is much bigger, their head is much bigger. They're just bigger all around.
How much do they weigh?
Like I said, males can weigh up to 2,200 pounds and females up to about 1,200. Ron right now, oh, this is cool. You're going to get to see a wallow here. This is something that bison do. It helps with parasites. And generally they like to do it in dirt and dust and sand. So they don't really wallow in mud that much, like a rhino would, but they love to wallow like that in the dirt. Back to weights. Ron, usually this time of year is when he starts to put on more weight going into breeding season, so he's right around 2,000 pounds, and our females are right around 1,000, 1,100.
How much do they weigh when they're born?
They weigh anywhere between, like right around 50 pounds.
You want to talk about how they are different colors from the adults when they're born?
Sure. When bison calves are born, they're like a rusty red color. That's thought to help with just predation. It kind of camouflages them in the prairie. And then it's around 3 months of age that they start to lose that coat and turn the dark brown like you see on these adult bison.
Are they soft?
Honestly, I don't know. We can't get that close to our bison. They are very wild. I would assume they're soft. I do know from removing hair off of some of our devices that we have in their holding area so that they can kind of scratch on. We have a large street sweeper brush in there for them so that they can scratch on it and remove their hair in the spring when they do their large shed. It does seem pretty soft.
Do they live in hot or cold temperatures?
So they live in a climate actually very similar to here. They historically were found all throughout kind of southern Canada, all throughout the United States, and actually even into northern Mexico. Currently their habitat is pretty much just western United States. One of the largest herds is in Yellowstone National Park. But they are built for pretty much any climate. They do really well in cold and even extreme cold. And their giant heads are used to plow through snow, so they can do really well if there's large snowfalls. That big hump on their back, this is actually my favorite thing about a bison. I just recently learned, we went to the Field Museum and got to go behind the scenes, and we got to see a bison skeleton. And the hump there is actually their vertebrae. It's really cool. I recommend you check it out. It's not just like a fat hump or a muscle hump like a camel. So there is a lot of muscle attached to that vertebrae, but I don't know, it's really cool. You should check it out.
Do they shed every year, and how much?
They shed every year. They usually start right about now, like March. You'll start to see some stuff. You can't really see too much shed right now, but they shed almost their entire hair. They'll have just a very thin layer left, usually by like July. They keep their head hair and like their pom-poms, like I like to call them, on their legs, but their body hair fully sheds out.
Are they related to buffalo?
So they are all bovids, or like cows. The main difference between a bison and a buffalo is where their horns grow on their head, and where they are located in the world. So buffalo are usually just in Europe and Africa. Bison are more North America and Europe. So the bison's horns, as you can see, grow out the side of their head. The buffalo, on the other hand, they grow from the center of their head, like on their forehead almost.
How many babies do they have at once?
They usually have one. It's very rare for them to have multiple babies.
How fast can they run?
So even though they're really big, they can actually run really fast if they need to, up to 35 miles an hour.
What are all the rocks in the exhibit for?
So we have different rocks for different reasons. The ones up close are actually, they're all pretty much made to help with erosion of the exhibit. Just natural, rainfall and whatever, just to help keep our plants and soil in our exhibit. The rocks right in front here are meant to keep the bison out of this moat area.
What is their lifespan?
They can live to be like 20 to 25. So like I mentioned earlier, we do have 2 older animals, but they're doing well. And like most animals, the lifespan of animals in managed care is generally a little bit longer than the lifespan of animals in the wild, just due to having great veterinary care and keeper staff who watches them closely, and no predators.
What kind of noises do they make?
Kind of similar to a cow. They have like a moo or a snort and a grunt. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, I have a joke for you. How does an ox say farewell to his son?
Yeah. You stole my end line. Bison.
That was from Alex.
Thanks, Alex. That's a good one.
How much do they eat in a day?
How am I going to end now, Alex? Seriously. So in the wild, they would eat a lot, like up to 300 pounds of vegetation. Here, they have like a more compact diet that has everything in it, so they don't have to go and forage all day long. Watch out. So Ron gets about 8 pounds of grain a day, and then some of the smaller animals get like right around 3 pounds of grain a day, and we split that between 2 feedings, and then they get hay all day. They get about a full bale per feeding almost, and that weighs, I don't know, probably about between 35 and 50 pounds. So about 100 pounds of hay a day between all the bison.
What are their feet like? Are they similar to the feet and hooves of a reindeer? They watch the reindeer chat, so they're wondering.
Yes, so they are even-toed ungulates. You can see they have 2 toes that support all of their weight on each leg. So they're also similar to a giraffe too.
What are their predators in the wild?
Puma? I don't know. They similar to most large animals, they don't really have a lot of natural predators. The babies or the young, old or sick animals would be the most likely to be taken down. The advantage they have is they are a herd animal, so if you've seen any documentaries or anything on bison or any other sort of kind of buffalo species, they will protect those animals that are more at risk by forming a ring around them and keeping them safe.
And do they ever play?
Yeah, they do. They'll kind of run around like crazy. It's pretty impressive to see a bison kind of taking off around the yard. Normally they're pretty relaxed and kind of how you're seeing them right now, but they do get rambunctious here and there, especially the younger animals, and they'll kind of get everybody riled up, and you'll have a herd of bison running around the exhibit. We also do provide them with enrichment, just like any of the other animals here at the zoo. And again, the younger animals tend to interact with that a little bit more than the older animals, but some of the things they actually like are like a soccer ball to kick around, and we do most of their enrichment in their holding area because it's a little bit it's flatter. They can't lose it down in a moat and stuff like that. Well, I want to thank everybody again for joining us here at Bringing the Zoo to You. And the next time you're here, we can't wait for you to come back and see our North American bison herd here at the zoo. Have a great day.